Calaroga Shark Media.
Busy one today. We've got Chappelle, Segura, Kreischer, Sheen, a lot of the big names out there today with your daily comedy news. Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily briefing on stand-up comedy, comedians, and the comedy industry. A sentence you would say if you were trying to goose the Spotify algorithm, but we don't have time for that today. David Draiman, you may know him. He is the front person for Disturbed. He has publicly reached out to Dave Chappelle. David took to Instagram and posted, "Dear Dave Chappelle, I say this with the utmost sincerity and humility. Myself and many other fans of you who happen to be Jews are having a hard time right now. Israel aside, which I'm more than happy to discuss with you at length, you mentioned your words are indeed powerful and have massive reach. Jews all over the world are being attacked in mass. Would your final joke be quite as funny/edgy if it led to the slaughter of more innocent Jews? The insinuations made by you could lead to such evil, God forbid. Give us hope. Dialogue is always the key. The world is violent enough. Let's try to diffuse things instead of lighting another match. The invitation is open and without condition." The joke in which Draiman refers to is Dave Chappelle's closer. I'm going to paraphrase here a little bit for language. In the special, Chappelle says, "My voice has become more powerful than I intended it to be, and I can't let these people do me like Charlie Kirk or even worse than that. What if these people trip me up somehow, co-opt me, and then make me say the things that they want me to say? Well, we can't have that, so just in case we need a code, it's got to be something that I can't say that if I say it, you know that these people got me. And don't listen to nothing I say after those words, but don't tell anybody what it is, but it's got to be something that you know what I mean, that I would never say. Oh, I know what the code is. The code is, I stand with Israel." Dave then thanks the crowd and says goodnight. One person on social media wrote, "Dave crapped on a guy who was killed for public speaking," referring to the Charlie Kirk segment of Chappelle's special, "then defended Diddy for half an hour and never thought he'd lose me, but he did." A listener sent me this from the Chappelle Reddit. People were criticizing some accuracy in Dave Chappelle's special. One of the complaints is about Dave Chappelle voting against Martin Luther King Day becoming a holiday. The complaint seems to be about Chappelle referring to Senator McCain. John McCain was actually a congressman when that vote took place. He did vote against it at the time, later regretted it. Also of interest, a big part of Chappelle's closer is about the boxer Jack Johnson. As was pointed out by the listener and in the Reddit, Jack Johnson was pardoned posthumously by President Trump. In Britain, every year, the monarch makes a Christmas Day message, and over on Channel 4, they do the alternative message. The alternative message this year was by Jimmy Kimmel. Here's a clip.
"I can tell you that from a fascism perspective, this has been a really great year. Tyranny is booming over here. You may have read in your colorful newspapers, my country's president would like to shut me up because I don't adore him in the way he likes to be adored. The American government made a threat against me and the company I work for, and all of a sudden we're off the air. But then, you know what happened? A Christmas miracle happened." Well, it was September. It was a September miracle. But the holiday does seem to come earlier and earlier every year, doesn't it? Millions and millions of people stood up and said, no, this is not acceptable. People who never watched my show, people who were on record saying they hate my show, spoke out, they marched, they did this all to support the right to a free expression of speech. And because so many people spoke out, we came back. Our show came back stronger than ever. We won, the president lost, and now I'm back on the air every night, giving the most powerful politician on earth a right and richly deserved bollocking. That's a word, right? I used it properly?
Kimmel went on to say, it's funny. We Americans are very proud of not having a king. It's kind of why we left. Earlier this year, tens of millions of us marched at protests called No Kings. And just for the record, we have nothing against your king. I don't know if you know this, but his son lives here in the States. Some of us just have a problem with the guy who thinks he's our king. Kimmel closed with, "No one knows better than you that we're always just a little bit late to the game, but we do come through in the end, maybe. Give us about 3 years, please. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for Spider-Man. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays." Right before Christmas, the President of the United States was on Truth Social and wrote that Stephen Colbert has actually gotten worse since being terminated by CBS. Stephen is running on hatred and fumes, a dead man walking. CBS should put him to sleep now. Some people on social media, most notably Keith Olbermann, had a problem with the put him to sleep language. The president hosted the 48th Kennedy Center Honors. The program averaged around 2.65 million viewers. That was a 35% decline year to year in 2024 when the president of the United States did not host the Kennedy Center Honors. That broadcast drew in 4.1 million viewers. Joe Rogan has had some pretty good guests in back-to-back episodes. He had Shane Gillis and Tom Segura. On the Tom Segura episode, Rogan said, "There's nothing nuttier than the plaques underneath the presidents." Have you seen these things in the White House? They put up like it's kind of like the Baseball Hall of Fame except for presidents. And some of the captions are just not presidential. I don't want to bog down on that today, but it's like, dude, what are you doing? You're just whoever the next president is just going to have to come in and take this stuff down. Like, what are you doing? You're just wasting money. And it's so immature. Even Rogan said the White House should be more like a museum and feature neutral, factual information about the presidents. Rogan said, you can't just let someone effing fully swim in it like that. He needs a right-hand man. Tom Segura suggested that the antics were evidence that the president was mentally, quote-unquote, losing it. Rogan replied, I think everybody does when you get to a certain age. Tom Segura was on Netflix during their NFL broadcast on Christmas Day. Segura did a segment with Michael Irvin, and man, is this try-hard.
I have a new special out.
Let's talk about it.
It's called Teacher. It covers a lot of stuff, okay? We talk about family, relationships, race, not like Steve Bannon jokes, but like fun stuff,
Right.
Crazy nights, the stuff that'll make Charles Haley blush, weird, crazy nights. Nights where I black out and wake up next to somebody that looks like Coach Belichick, things like that.
Tom Segura's special Teacher is out. I watched it, and I kept noticing the clapter. I'm very, very sensitive to clapter. I think there were 6 clapter reactions in the first 12 minutes. I wrote clapter 3 times in the first 12 minutes, and then I posted a second time, 6 in the first 20. It's not a good thing for comedy show. Yeah. So if you're new to all this, when you're a comedian, you're trying to get laughs, and sometimes you get applause, which is not, hey, that was really funny. That's, oh, yes, you made a good point. We agree with you there. It's not a good thing for a comedy show. I like Segura a lot. Just the special just didn't click. He was good company. Nice to listen to, but funny? I'm not sure it was funny. Now, I'm recording this the day after Christmas, and I'm in a really good mood. I mean, it was Christmas. We had a fantastic Christmas. I'm not cranky at all today, and I'm just sharing that because I don't want you to think like, oh, man, he's in a mood. He's just negative today. But, I wasn't feeling the Segura thing. And then Bert Kreischer was also part of the NFL broadcast, and I just watched this clip, and you know what? Kreischer's really good at this. This is a good version of what this is supposed to be. He's very natural in an unnatural way. Like, he's good at TV, but none of this feels genuine, if that makes any sense. Like, he's just a natural performer, but like the whole packaging of this just doesn't feel genuine. And I watch this and going, oh, I see, Bert. You're, I don't want to use the phrase selling out, but you're following the money. Here's Bert Kreischer on Netflix NFL.
I am so excited to be here. I am about to eat and drink my way through this entire parking lot. That's my goal today. And my goal is to find the 2 best tailgate foods I can find. Then take those 2 people, march them in front of the stadium where me and Anthony Anderson will judge them competition style to find our winner. But I got to tell you, the real reason I'm here today is to let you know my new series, Freebird, is streaming January 22nd on Netflix. We just dropped the trailer on all socials. It is a hard R family comedy. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, set a reminder. January 22nd, Freebird. I'm taking my shirt off. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So since the trailer is released, I went to pull it and share it with you. It is very rated R, and I watched it, and I'm like, so do you just want to be like dirty Kevin James? Is that what we're trying to do here? I don't know about this show. I mean, it seems somewhat watchable from the trailer, but I don't know. I don't know who it's for, this series. Because it's going to be too corny for the dude bros who want to party, and it's going to be too naughty for the sitcom people. So I don't know if this will have an audience. We'll see. In the trailer, Bert Kreischer's asked, the whole shirtless thing, where does it come from? And then there's like the uptight principal type character, whoever the character is like, you ought to wear a shirt. Free Bert stars Bert Kreischer as Bert Kreischer, who sees himself in uncharted territory when his daughters are accepted to an elite Beverly Hills private school. Then there's a scene with the daughters going to the school and people making some comments that I find age inappropriate. And I was like, I don't know about this. Arden Mirren plays Bert Kreischer's wife Leanne in this one, and the mother of the 2 daughters. Ava Ryan plays daughter Georgia, who's the target of cyberbullying. Free Bert is out January 22nd. We'll see how that goes. Out today on Netflix, Ricky Gervais, the final major comedy special of the year. We're looking forward to this one. Ricky has unveiled a statue paying tribute to the dog from the Netflix series Afterlife, Vislor Antilli, who was the dog that played Brandy. A statue of Antilli was erected in Hemel Hempstead, where the comedy drama was filmed. Ricky explained in a video, "I'm here to unveil this beautiful statue of Antilli the Wonderhound, or Auntie to her friends, or Brandy as she was portrayed in Afterlife, and she's going into the square next to the Afterlife bench." So yeah, this is to Auntie from Afterlife, my favorite co-star. She was a very good girl. I told her about 20 times a day, even when she wasn't a good girl. Sometimes she forgot her lines, and she didn't have many, but she was still a good girl. So you can all come along and touch her nose for luck. She really is beautiful. And come and say, hello, good girl, still a good girl. And Tilly passed away in January at age 13. Bill Maher has shared that he and Larry David are no longer friends. Bill Maher had called out Larry David for critiquing Bill Maher's meeting with President Donald Trump earlier in the year. Maher was being interviewed by the Free Press. The host asked Bill Maher if he's ever said anything that has publicly cost him invites, friends, or anything of that nature. Maher said, F yeah, I mean, Larry David certainly is not really my friend anymore. The Sports Business Journal shared a report on viewership of the FedEx Cup playoffs, that's golf, and they are giving credit to Adam Sandler for Happy Gilmore 2 for increasing the ratings. The FedEx Cup playoffs took place just after Happy Gilmore 2 came out. The championship got 700,000 views compared to 500,000 last year. Obviously, the only person you could credit for that is, of course, Adam Sandler. Alonzo Bodden was speaking to KNPR about Las Vegas drivers. He said, these drivers, they're kind of fascinating, how bad some people drive. One day I saw a truck pull out of a driveway and it was a right turn only. So he just drove over the median and made a left. And I was like, oh, we're just making our own rules. Alonzo actually had some thoughts on politics. He wondered, Donald Trump's ear grew back. We're still trying to figure out how. How did the ear grow? Evander Holyfield deserves to know how you grow back an ear. As for the other side, he said the Democrats completely disappearing is funny. There's nobody who can surrender a fight quicker than the Democratic Party. It's amazing. You pick a fight and they'll lay down. Send your letters to Alonzo Bodden. And that is your comedy news for today. You have a great day.